During the 1980s, young Fabietto resides with his parents, older sibling, and sister. He has no friends and girls, despite dreaming for it. Fabio dedicates his time to studying philosophy and listening to music, with the goal of attending college. In the evening, St. Januarius stops at a bus stop and asks a lovely patrician woman to come to his home. Even though she is distrustful of him, he has a lot of knowledge about her. He assures her he will fix her fertility issue and instructs her to lightly kiss the young monk, then proceeds to touch her inappropriately. After coming back home, Patria, who is dealing with a mental illness, argues with her envious spouse, who views her as a cheating woman. After hearing about the scandal, Fabietto, Maria, and Sirios visit Patricia at her home. Maria attempts to assist her sister during a challenging time, as Fabietto marvels at his aunt's attractive physique. Franco is upset by his wife's immoral actions, but Sirios and his son attempt to comfort him. Maria is happily whistling with her husband, expressing her love for him while entertaining the children by juggling fruit, bringing universal delight. Meanwhile, the men are worried about the recent rumors concerning Diego Maradona's potential transfer to the local Napoli team. Some people think it's just gossip because the legendary football player currently plays for the Spanish club Barcelona and may not move to Italy. Additionally, their club has limited financial resources and probably can't afford to buy out the Argentine striker's contract. Alfredo is confident the transfer will happen and tells Fabietto that he will take his own life if it doesn't soon. A little later, the family goes to the sea to swim and enjoy the beautiful weather. Lella almost causes a tsunami by jumping into the water, leaving her fiancé on the yacht. The old man decides to chat with the charming Patricia, but she throws the battery of his communication device into the water. Once on the boat, everyone watches Patricia curiously as she behaves erratically due to her mental problems and tans without underwear. Fabietto is intensely infatuated with his aunt and can't stop looking at her. Patricia notices this and asks her nephew to bring a towel, not hesitating to show him her figure. At night, the family receives a phone call from Sio's mistress, causing Fabio's parents to have a fierce argument. The mother tries to calm herself by juggling but becomes hysterical, and Fabietto worries about her well-being. He has a seizure, which his older brother helps him overcome. A few hours later, the family receives another call, and Maria suspects that it might be her husband's mistress. Sirios consoles his wife, explaining that it's just a coworker sharing important news about the bank issuing insurance for millions, thereby confirming the transfer of Diego Maradona to Napoli. The following morning, Sirios gives Fabio a season ticket to the local team's home game so his youngest son can watch the world-class soccer star play. Upon returning home, Maria encounters a neighbor who has mental disorders. The woman is happy that her eldest son has a girlfriend but is also upset due to a quarrel with her husband. Meanwhile, Serio tells Fabietto about how he met his mother, explaining that he believes the first adult experience in a guy's life is the most important thing that can happen. He advises his son not to be afraid and to take advantage of any opportunities to enjoy his time. At night, Fabietto has trouble sleeping, so he heads to the city center where a film directed by the famous Capuano is being filmed. Capuano is known for being demanding with his actresses, which is expected since he creates masterpieces of Italian cinema. Fabietto admires the main actress and fantasizes about being with her in bed. Later, Fabietto meets Armando and realizes that he is a smuggler who has escaped from the police. In the evening, Maria forgives her husband and they reconcile, with the wife pretending to be a bear as part of a game. Eventually, a family member is arrested for financial fraud, but no one pays much attention because Diego Maradona scored a goal with his hand, which the referee counted. This event becomes significant in a political sense, as the hand of God is remembered as a symbol of strength, freedom, and independence. The entire city of Naples celebrates this significant victory, while only Fabio's grandmother is upset about the arrest of her son. She expresses her frustration to her relatives, who respond by angrily confronting and attacking her. A few days later, Maria and Serio head to their country retreat. They ask Fabietto to join them, but he declines as he wants to attend his favorite club's next game. While Maria and Serio doze off on the couch by the fireplace, tragedy strikes. Fabietto and Marcino are devastated to learn that their parents have succumbed to a carbon monoxide leak, falling into an eternal sleep. Fabietto desperately wants to see his parents' bodies but is denied, leading to a distressing outburst. The family later arranges a funeral for Maria and Serio, during which Fabietto remains stoic, and they discover that Aunt Patricia has been committed to a psychiatric hospital for mandatory treatment. Alfredo consoles Fabietto, remarking that he was saved by a higher power. As time passes, the brothers observe Maradona's rigorous training and are impressed by his perseverance. Unable to cope with the grim reality, Marcino decides to leave for Rome to make a fresh start. A few days later, Fabietto goes to visit Patricia at the psychiatric hospital. He learns that she, an infertile woman, had become pregnant but sadly lost the baby. This led to a disagreement with her husband, and she now refuses to see him, choosing to stay at the hospital rather than communicate with him. After confiding in his aunt about his feelings, Fabietto goes back home. A neighbor from the floor above invites him over and asks for his help in catching a bat. Shortly after, the Baroness summons Fabietto into her bedroom and requests that he read to her. Upon realizing that Fabietto has never had a girlfriend, the elderly woman decides to assist him in this matter. The Baroness enjoys spending time with him and encourages him to address her by his aunt's name. Having grown as a person, Fabietto decides to smoke and realizes that he no longer needs to fear dating girls. Later on, Fabietto sheds tears for the first time as he grapples with the loss of his parents. While at the theater, he enjoys admiring an actress but understands that it's unlikely he'll ever get to know her. Upon meeting Armando, they head to the port where they encounter numerous women offering their services. However, the pimp intervenes, driving them away. Subsequently, Armando confronts the man, and they manage to flee, eventually deciding to journey to an island. Here, Fabietto notices an Arab sheik and a model, coming to the realization that attractiveness will elude him without money. Following a night of adventures, Arrow, and Fabietto become the closest of friends. A few days later, Armando begins to ignore Fabietto, prompting him to head to the beach with his relatives. Feeling self-conscious about his emotions, he climbs a cold volcano and listens to music while reminiscing about his deceased parents. Martino confides in him that he has no desire to dwell on the past and has no intention of returning to Naples, finding solace and freedom in Rome. Understanding that he cannot sway his brother's decision, Fabietto bids farewell to Martino and returns home. Sometime later, Fabi watches the premiere of Capuano's movie and goes to prison to meet Armando. It turns out Armando did not ignore him but simply fell into the hands of the police, who sent him to jail. Remaining, Fabietto goes to the theater again. In the middle of the performance, Capuano calls the actress mediocre, causing the girl to run away from the stage in tears. Fabietto decides to get to know the director better and asks him for good advice. The eccentric Capuano initially ignores the guy but learns that he is an orphan, realizing that Fabietto has gone through all the stages of growing up. For his young age, the director agrees to help him and offers to work together on a future film. Fabietto decides to think for a while. He heads to the train station and purchases a ticket for the next train bound for Rome. During the journey, he spots a young monk and eavesdrops on the whistle his parents used to express their feelings for each other. As he comprehends that this signifies the start of his journey into adulthood, Fabietto maintains optimism for a brighter future.